then the name of the person who organized the meetings and their contact details.
Yeah, to stage 2.
Naona education pillar is smiling. Okay. We, as the psychosocial pillar, there are a number of things that we've been able to do.
In comparison with the counties that we are working with under the AREC project, I think
Thank you.
Thank you. So my name is Kyoko Wandi. I am a journalist here in Nakuru. I work at Egerton University as a journalism trainer. I have been part of this process as one of the key stakeholders that are partnering with other like-minded persons and organizations in coming up with strategies and also implementing them in trying to see how we can prevent and counter terrorism and extreme violence in Nakuru County. It is important to note that, yes, while Nakuru County has not been a victim of a real terror attack, it has been, in the past, it has been a playing ground for organized crime groups, and we can name quite a number of them. It's exciting that in the first few months we have not seen quite a real clash of those groups and activities of those groups, but that does not mean that we are out of the woods. Just recently we saw what one may want to describe as a misuse of those very members of such groups, and therefore then these activities and the strategies that we are coming up with in this project and implementing are very important, that we should never relent. We should never say that we have reached the target, because the recruitment into these organized crimes groups is usually a continuous process, so we never stop. So then as the media pillar in this project, then our role is first of all to, on a proprio motu basis, to come up with our own stories, come up with our own narratives, of course to counter the narratives of terrorism and extreme violence, of course, that are perpetrated by other groups. Whether those formulating those narratives are in Nakuru or not, at the end of the day, is that those narratives have a way of penetrating through different communication channels and getting to our people. That's one. The second one is also to help in disseminating information about the whole project and also about what these other pillars are doing. So whether it's the economic pillar, what they are doing, we come and help in telling their story. Because if, for instance, we tell the story of how the economic pillar, for instance, is working with stakeholders to see to it that a certain economic activity or project is being implemented in order to reduce the vulnerability of our young people, then that in a big way helps in countering terrorism and extreme violence. So that's mainly what we do. It's important to note that one of the key government stakeholders in this, of course, is the media regulator. That's the Media Council of Kenya, with whom in the recent past we have organized some meetings. The most recent one was last week, where we had an online engagement. We just select a number of journalists to just test how well we can be training journalists online on matters prevention and countering extreme violence. Then in about a week or two, we are going to have another training which shall be open to all journalists in Nakuru. Up to and actually even in the training we held last week in the Media Council of Kenya, I need to insist that we are not just working with the quote-unquote journalists as defined by the MCK Act. We are also working with the content creators, bloggers, and so on, to just make sure that anybody who has a platform of information dissemination can be involved, because that is exactly what we are looking forward to, the dissemination of information. So in about a week or two, we will be engaging with NCTC, that's the National Counterterrorism Center, for another engagement which will be broad, and any other person involved in information dissemination, be it journalists, be it a content creator or blogger, will be invited to take part. That is what I would say for now, unless you have something you would like me to clarify.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, whatever you said, you want to say that journalists are not well equipped in reporting with terrorism, and do journalists really get therapy, also social support after reporting on terror?
No. The one, you can never pretend that you are actually just coming up with a separate curriculum, to say, now let's, for instance, come up with a BA in a BA communication reporting terrorism. That's not it really. But what we are saying is that terrorism and extreme violence is one of the contemporary issues that keeps on coming up. And on a daily basis, there are new techniques that terrorists are using. And it's important for journalists to keep on being updated on these skills, so that on these new ways of terrorism and extreme violence acts, so that even as they report, they also know how well to frame their stories, and also how to pitch, to their editors and so on. But majorly, really, even when they are in the field, how do they protect themselves and so on and so forth? Because you know very well that even in the past, there are certain journalists who have also been, approached by these terror groups and so on. I don't know whether you saw there is a recent article that was shared where someone in Somali who posed, is it Somali or Uganda, who posed as a journalist actually, and who was being used, by a terror group to get information from person. And because of that tag, he was a lecturer. Because of that tag, there was a lot of trust that he was given. So it's not really that journalists are not equipped, but it's a matter of continuous training on a daily basis. In the same way, we'll talk about it. At the moment, for instance, the industry, and it's all over the world, is talking about artificial intelligence. Just the way we have been discussing fake news, as a contemporary issue. So is this matter of terrorism and countering of extreme violence.
Good afternoon. My name is Wangare Mwangi. I represent the Law Society of Kenya in the fight against terrorism. I am the Vice Chair, LSK Nakuru chapter, and I am representing our chapter and also our branch in this forum. And I am in the law enforcement pillar, which I believe it cuts across all other pillars, and we are working in collaboration with all of them. Our main point and the reason as to why we have been involved in this forum is essentially to fight for human rights. Terrorism cuts across, and according to the Constitution, the right to life is key. And this forum has enabled us as LSK come up with pointers, come up with ideas on how to best protect human life. Our agenda is mainly to work with the county government of Nakuru, and we are also working closely with IPOA. We are working closely with the prisons department even the NGAF, that represents the chiefs, the Nyumba Kumi initiative, and they are very helpful. Our main area of reaching out to the society, and mainly to fight terrorism, is we have a legal awareness every year. And despite the legal awareness, where we offer free legal advice, that is coming up in sometime in September. We have partnered with Midrift. We are also working closely to host a tournament that will capture the youth in Nakuru East, Nakuru County. And the main purpose of the tournament is to engage as many people as we can so that we can get to hear their side of views. Under the Nakuru LSK chapter, we have committees. We have the Children's Committee that works closely with the Parents Association, the schools, and the main purpose of that committee is to safeguard the rights of children. So LSK is a major partner, if I could say that, and the law enforcement and even the judiciary is also involved. It's unfortunate today we do not have a representative from the judiciary. However, we work closely even with the magistrates and the judges because the justice sector cuts across. It cuts across the ODPP, the LSK, the judiciary, the prisons, and the community at large. Because if we do not collaborate together, then we have no chance of helping the youth and mostly the children who are being radicalized into terrorism, so that we can protect them and so that we can even look after them and fight for their rights. Under the LSK and under the laws of Kenya, the constitution is a Grundnorm. That means it is the umbrella of all laws. And once the constitution is not being followed, or once we do not follow constitutionalism, then the rule of law has no place. And there is the Terrorism Act that is under the laws of Kenya, and it has provided penalties. And actually, terrorism under the Penal Code and under the Criminal Procedure Act is one of the offenses that carries a mandatory sentence under the laws of Kenya. So it is not a small offense, neither is it an offense we can just dismiss and say because one of us is not being affected, then we are not going to fight. Because of the nature of the penalties and the sentence that comes with these acts, it is necessary that we as LSK uphold the rule of law, and it is necessary that we also educate the members of public to follow the constitution, and if there is a crime, please report. And that is why LSK and the police are working closely together so that we can help the members of the public to make the report, and then thereafter the LSK follows that up and we take it to court, and if there are acts of terrorism, LSK will be there to defend the victims and to help the state in watching brief.
Kwa majina naitwa Abdulkadir Adam Juma. I'm heading the Ideological Pillar katika County Action Plan Nakuru County, na kwa kweli issue ya action plan in countering violent extremism and radicalization ni jambo muhimu sana, na tumeipea kipaumbele kwa ajili ya kusaidia kueneza ama kuelezea watu umuhimu wa kutokuwa extreme katika masuala ya dini. Na kwa kweli sisi kama jamii ya Waislamu, I'm heading the Ideological Pillar kwa upande ya Uislamu, na tumeweza kufanya mengi kwa sababu ukweli ni kwamba we need to counter the narratives ambazo zina support issue ya terrorism. Na sisi kama hapa Nakuru pamoja na mashehe wameweza kuidentify some of the narratives ambazo inaweza kuelezwa kwa njia mwafaka ili watu waweze kuelewa Uislamu ni nini na maana ya aya za Qur'ani ambazo zimeweza kuelezewa ndani ya Qur'an. Sababu kwa mara nyingi unapata wakati mwingine aya zinabadilishwa kwa njia isiyokuwa mwafaka, ambapo kwamba watu wanaweza wakafikiria kwamba Uislamu ni ugaidi. Kwamba kwa mfano neno jihad, the word jihad ina maneno mingi na ina ufasiri tofauti. Mojawapo ya neno jihad ufasiri wake ni kustrive, ni kustruggle kwa ajili ya maneno tofauti ambayo yanaweza kukusaidia kimaisha. Kwa hivyo the word jihad inapotumika vibaya katika jamii ya Kiislamu ama katika kuieleza kwa njia isiyo mwafaka inafanya kwamba watu wanatarajia ama kufikiria kwamba jihadi lengo lake ni kupiga yeyote asiyekuwa Muislamu ama kumuua kafiri bure kwa jina la lengo la jihad. Jambo la pili ni kwamba sisi kama Muslim Association of Nakuru pamoja na viongozi wengine tumeweza kufanya identification of the needy people in the Muslim community, because some of this issue, wakati unaweza tackle the issue of the people problems ambazo watu wanayo katika ground, wakati mwingine inaweza kusaidia upande wa radicalization, de-radicalize, kwa sababu mambo ni mengi katika ground, mambo ni mengi, matatizo ni mengi, vijana wetu wanapitia matatizo mengi. Kwa hiyo wakati mwingine ni bora kuweza kuangazia matatizo ambayo vijana wetu wanao katika community. Sio vijana peke yake, kina mama, wazee, vijana. Wakati tunaposhirikiana na hizi pillars tofauti kama economic pillar, kuna psychosocial pillar, kuna security pillar. Hii plan ya county action plan ni plan nzuri sana, kwa sababu imeweza kujumuisha hizi pillars zote, ambapo kwamba wanaweza kuhuiana katika kutekeleza na kuangazia shida tofauti ambayo iko katika jamii ili kuweza kucounter issue ya terrorism.
My name is Irene Cheptum, Assistant County Commissioner, also representing the Office of the County Commissioner on issues violent extremism. The County Engagement Forum that has been held here today is it's one of the organs in dissemination and prevention of matters violent extremism within the county. The forum brings on board a number of stakeholders, which they include the education, the county government, the Chamber of Commerce, Association of Manufacturers, law enforcers, religious leaders, both the Muslim and Christian, and the media, among very many others. Ideally, the CEF is supposed to be co-chaired by the county commissioner and the governor. And amidst us, we also have representations from the county government of Nakuru. We have several activities since the development of the county action plan that was done last year around July, and among the pillars that we have focused on in this county are 6. One is the law and enforcement. We have got economic pillar, we have education pillar, we have the media pillar, and among others. So these are the areas where we've seen that most of our youths at risk can be reached through the different pillars. We've done several activities specifically for the part of law and enforcement. Awareness creation has been done among ourselves, the Ngao officers. We've also included security committees. This includes the police, the DCI, NIS, and also our elders and Nyumba Kumi elders. They've equally been sensitized on the same, because these are the people who are directly with the community. We meet quarterly as the County Engagement Forum, and whenever we meet, I've mentioned earlier that we have the County Action Plan that tells us where we would want to be. So after every quarter, these engagements come on board to review and to see where we are, and now where it needs emphasis. So the engagements are very good, because after every engagement you realize that there is something additional that we incorporate to ensure that we have a peaceful society here in Nakuru County.
So my name is Leslie Rono. I work for Midrift Human Rights Network as a Research Monitoring and Evaluation Officer. And today we've been having a forum with the CEF, the County Engagement Forum, who we work with closely to implement activities under the Nakuru County Action Plan. So today was basically a follow-up meeting following a series of meetings we've been having, just to check in with them in terms of the activities that they've been implementing in PCV. We have 6 pillars: the economic pillar, psychosocial pillar, media pillar, education pillar, ideological pillar, and finally the law enforcement pillar. And all of these pillar members are working on something on PCV. So today we've been having a reflection, and to be honest, they are really doing a good job in terms of PCV in Nakuru. They are addressing issues to deal with the youth at risk of radicalization and recruitment. There is a saying that if Nakuru cannot deal with the issue of organized crime, how better are we prepared to deal with the issue of violent extremism? So that's why we are here, just so we can reduce the vulnerabilities of the youth and have a peaceful and secure Nakuru. We anticipate to have these reports scaled up and uploaded to a Fusion system. Fusion system basically is a reporting platform for PCV activities that is run exclusively by the NCTC, the National Counterterrorism Center. So once these are uploaded, they are taken to a dashboard which shows progress by all counties in terms of implementing PCV activities. Yeah.
My name is Linda Kagia, heading the economic pillar under the Arrive project. The economic pillar, so far we have reached about 400 youth, at-risk youth and ex-convicts, whereby we have capacity built them on matters of financial literacy, table banking, and other opportunities both in private sector and government. I'm happy to report that we met with the first group that we trained in November last week, and this group, from the reports we got from them, some of them have started groups. They're initiating the legalization of these groups through our partners, that is Women Enterprise Fund, Micro-Social Enterprise Authority, and other organizations that we are working together with at Economic Pillar. And apart from that, we had one group that was given a sugar cane juice maker, whereby they reported that currently they have a savings of 20,000 in their account. So we are encouraging these youth at risk and ex-convicts to continue for legalizing their groups and taking opportunity of the small ideas of business ideas and other opportunities that we are sharing with them, with other partners, that is Kenya Association of Manufacturers, government institutions like Women Enterprise Fund, NGAF, Youth Fund, so that they can improve their businesses or make their business ideas to come to reality.
Okay, my name is Pastor Wagala Hodari. I represent the Psychosocial Pillar in this project. Maybe just a highlight is that by the wisdom of the government of Kenya, they realized that the hard approach about terrorism was not bearing much fruit. So the approach of the soft approach has enabled the government to bring so many other aspects of society to help in the issues of dealing with anti-terrorism, violent extremism. And that is how, in the wisdom of the government, by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, launched the National Action Plan that has been launched in different counties. Nakuru is one of them. So I'm representing the Psychosocial Pillar but we have other pillars. There are about 6 of them. The whole idea is to involve the counseling psychologist on the issues of the mental health vis-a-vis the crime. So what we are doing is that we are giving psychosocial support to the young people, and we are preparing counseling psychologists in the sense that when they come across the counseling, the client that they are counseling, especially the young people who are at the verge of maybe radicalization, so they are able to know what to do and how to handle them. Because basically in counseling psychology, we have a code of ethics of how to handle our clients. And one of the things that drives counseling psychology is the confidentiality aspect of it. But there are 4 areas where confidentiality can be broken. And one of them is that when you are dealing with the issues of terrorism, your confidentiality is not guaranteed. That is why we are targeting the counselors who are practicing, especially in Nakuru, that when they are dealing with their clients, and they have realized that their clients are at the verge of radicalization, we are giving them training and we're giving the red flags so that they are able to know exactly if the client they are dealing with is at the verge of radicalization. So that is the reason why, as part of Psychosocial Pillar, of which I and my colleague Zipi Nyangara we are heading, we are targeting the counseling psychologists in Nakuru, especially to train them on this aspect of violent extremism, so that they are able to report to the necessary places. So far, we have been able to do a lot of activity. Just recently, we had the privilege to meet with the guidance and counseling teachers in Nakuru East and Nakuru West at Red Cross Hall, and we were able to reach so many of them. And we challenge them on the issues of how, when they are dealing with the students, and how they are able to know the red flags on the issues that are dealing with the radicalization. Because the radicalizers, they start from the young people, and they target even our schools. So we are also targeting the guiding and counseling teachers for the aspect of giving them psychological supervision so that they don't experience the burnout. So that is one of the aspects that we are doing. We have also been able, as the Psychosocial Pillar, to partner with the NTSA. NTSA, we partnered with them because of the aspect of mental health vis-a-vis road safety. So we are bringing also the aspect of PCV in that aspect. So we are planning to meet with the councillors who are practicing in Nakuru County, about 50 of them or so, depending on how God will grace us, so that we give them those aspects. When they come across such extremism or clients who are dealing with Mamboya extremism, how do they approach? Where do they report? So we are going to train them on those indicators. We are going to train them on the red flags and all those other things. So that is why I am here, and I'm part of the team. I'm representing the Psychosocial Pillar. And so far, we are collaborating with other pillars, and especially the media and online pillar, of which wherever we have an activity, they are able to upscale it to all the wananchi so that they are able to get to know what we are doing. We are also working with the education pillar so that we are able to reach out to the teachers. We are working with the counseling psychologist associations in Nakuru so that we are able to get to their members and also to know exactly if they can be able to be helped and be trained to see some of the things from the lenses of the PCV. I finally want to say that I challenge all the counseling psychologists in the Republic of Kenya that there is a new board, a new counselors and psychologists board that has been operationalized. This board is going to regulate all the issues of the counseling in the Republic of Kenya. So if you are a counselor and you have not been able to register, we urge you to register so that by in a few years or a few years time, we shall have real professional counseling psychologists now to get rid of all the quirks of the counselor. So I'm urging all the counseling psychologists in the Republic of Kenya that we be able to register with the Board of Counseling Psychologists Board. That had been an act of parliament and it has been operationalized. Okay, fine. You see, Nakuru, Nakuru basically is God has been very gracious to us that we've never had a terrorist attack so far. But it is important to note that there are some other Kenyans who are coming from Nakuru who have been able to be arrested elsewhere in other counties within the Republic of Kenya. And when they were interviewed, they say they were coming from Nakuru. So what we are doing is we are doing prevention. As the psychosocial pillar, because now we are targeting the all of Nakuru. And the whole of Nakuru, we have 11 sub-counties. So basically, we are targeting the councillors, because that is what we are doing, so that these councillors are able to be trained on the red flags and indications or when they are dealing with their clients. And basically, the reason we are doing that is that it is by law in counseling ethics that if your client is dealing with the terrorism, you cannot guarantee their confidentiality. You'll have to report. And that is why we are really taking that line, so that our counselors who are practicing are able to know exactly if they come across such. Because we are, when somebody gets to the therapy room, those 4 aspects must be told. They must be given kwamba confidentiality is guaranteed, except when you want to kill yourself, when you want to harm others, or when you are dealing with the terrorism, or when there's a court order. And in very rare occasions, when a client himself want to say that I want you to disclose this one, maybe to my spouse or to something like that. So that's what we are doing basically. I don't know whether I've answered that question.
Yeah, so my name is Helen Wangari Ngige. I'm a teacher at Kimathi Secondary School. And in this project, I'm the Education Pillar co-chair. And we have been having activities in schools, and especially in peace clubs. We've been reinforcing and strengthening the peace clubs so as we can create awareness and sensitization to the learners concerning violent extremism. We realize that we have security issues in our schools, and most of us don't know how to identify and handle the cases. So in this case, we want to create more awareness for the learners so that we can reduce the pool of those who are vulnerable. We find out that there are some issues like poverty and GBV, which makes them to be vulnerable. And in that case, we are trying to address that. And we have also partnered with the Kenya National Drama and Films Festival. We are going to have the activities this term. They have already started, and therefore we'll be awarding those items that have the messages on preventions and countering violent extremism. And also in the music festivals, we'll have the items. So we are trying to create awareness and sensitize these learners such that when they are aware, they'll not be vulnerable. So we are also engaging with other schools whereby we will have debates and talks around the same, such that these learners are also able to contribute and come up with solutions to these problems, the security problems that they are having. So far, we have partnered with the law enforcement pillar, whereby we have some of the chiefs coming to schools to address the learners on the security issues. So they normally attend parades on Mondays and Fridays. And we have seen that this has had impact, because once the learners are aware, then they will avoid those areas that maybe might lead them to engaging in criminal gangs activities, and end up engaging in productive ways of maybe countering the same. We were talking to the guidance and counseling teachers. They were being trained on GBV, and we found out that these teachers themselves, they are guidance and counseling teachers, and yet they have not been counseled. We tried asking if any has ever attended a counseling session, and we found out that none of them had ever been counseled, and yet we know that we teachers also have our own issues. Therefore, we need that support. And also there is a policy whereby corporal punishment was abolished, and also expelling a student, that one who has been chronic, is also not allowed. We say that hakuna dustbin ya mtoto, so even that who seems to be extreme, We are just supposed to come up with ways in which we can maintain them in school. And therefore we find that, for example, if a student has been maybe extreme, maybe a security issue, we are supposed to report, and others we refer them to counseling instead of now expelling them or sending them home. So we find that we have these issues, and we have to be strengthened, especially the guidance and counseling teachers, such that they are able to handle at the school level. Before we refer, then we can handle those cases at the school level before we project them to the police or to guidance and counseling elsewhere. Yes, thank you.
Okay, my name is Grace Maritim. I am from National Parents Association. Sorry. I represent both Psychosocial Pillar and Education Pillar, which correlate because we are all targeting the child. So what we have been doing as National Parents Association, in relation to education and psychosocial support, we have been targeting youths who are in churches, other sectors like boda. We normally request those people who have already made maybe having seminars for the youth to invite us. And now through us, we invite the NCTC, which has been our trainers. And they have been doing some very good job. Since we started last year, that is September last year, we have been able to talk to more than 800 youths in the whole of this county, because whenever we are targeting the youth camps, zile ambazo zimetayarishwa na kanisa, you can find it is for a county. So every sub-county is being represented in the youth camps. Now, the ones that we did from last November to date, we have been able to reach 4 sub-counties, that is Rongai, Subukia, Bahati and Nakuru. We have been able to train the Red Cross youth volunteers, because they are fast responders to accidents and also attacks. So we saw it is good, especially to learn more about the active shooter. So we are here with NCTC, who trained them half day, and the response was so good, and they requested for even more. So wherever we are going, we are training challenges that are affecting the youth. Issues like drugs and substance abuse, their identity, because it is now that you are trying to learn or to engage in learning their identity. We are also tackling issues like GBV, issues that we find them even at our homes. We are also targeting the parents through National Parents Association. And right now what we have planned with the Education Office, especially in my area, that is Subukia, we shall be visiting schools whenever they are having parents association, different schools, so that we can also sensitize the parent. Like now, from immediately after midterm, we shall be visiting a school called Forest Hill Secondary School, and we shall be highlighting the issues, because we have found that our parents have neglected the children, especially the boy child. Like in that school, we are being told by the principal that the parents are very eager to pay fees, the lunch fee for girl child, but the boy child has been told to man up. So that boy is easily to be influenced into radicalization, if at all he is being showed empathy by other people. So we are trying to go and talk to the parents so that they can also own their boy child and know that they are at risk.